Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Watch Party Wednesdays. I'm Lee Gordon here live from Chicago, home of Brunswick Corporation, where we are thrilled to welcome all of our Freedom owners and members from all around the world. But we're even more excited to welcome in somebody you probably already know. Lisa Almeida, owner of Freedom Boat Club in Jacksonville. We have certainly a treat for you with our Freedom at the Helm Women's Group, designed to empower women of Freedom Boat Club to find their freedom at the helm, on the water, and in our daily lives. And there is nobody better than Lisa to do that. Lisa, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. You know, I love to talk about boating and women on the water, so it's perfect.
So let's talk about music. We always start off with here because we're going to start with the fact that we've launched our Freedom playlist on Spotify. So what is the music that you like to listen to when you get on the water?
Okay, so you asked the girl who is getting her new boat next week, and the new name of my new boat is going to be Dance Party. So,
Okay,
of course,
so I was wrong. I was way off.
Yeah, it's not. I love Leonard Skinner because they're from Jacksonville. I get it. But I am the dancing queen, and I love to dance, so it's dance music. And usually it's the theme of the summer. So like last summer, it was the get up dance so that we could all do the get up dance on the back of the helm and on the sandbar. So this year, it's Just Sing, Justin Bieber and Anna Kendrick from World Trolls Tour, because you can just sing and dance. So there you have it.
All right, I was a little off. Those are two very good songs, though. That works. So we've got to talk, we talk music, but we're also going to talk about you and the brand that you have built. And when I look behind you, it screams right at me. And I've known you long before we both even started here at Brunswick and Freedom. But the Boatanista, how did it start? How has it evolved? And how have you just kind of grown into it through the years?
Well, it's really a cool story. But when I look back at pictures of me in my childhood, I think that I was really born to be the Boatanista. However, it started because, at Freedom, we do a lot of social events. And one month, this was several years ago, we had a bunch of social events. And the ad agency we were working with at the time, she goes, wow, you're like the Boatanista. And I went, I am the Boatanista. and I woke up the next morning and I said to myself, oh my gosh, I think we need to have a logo. I think I need to get a definition. And so I worked on it with the agency, and then I know you're familiar with 1010XL in Jacksonville. Sure. And so Jeff Prosser started calling me Lisa the Boatanista on the ads because we did Freedom Fridays. And then people just started calling me the Boatanista. And then I was like, okay, I've got to get this trademark. But what I love about it is that men like it and women like it. And it just represents, boating fun, basically, which is what I'm all about. So.
No, that's right. When you told me Jeff is the one that did it, I'm like, that makes sense. It makes complete sense that he'd be the guy to do it. So you've had an incredible career even before Freedom Boat Club. Just how has boating really kind of given you the passion and really found the freedom at the helm for you? And how have you kind of passed that on to others?
So, my parents were competitive water skiers. And my mother skied with me until she was 6 months pregnant. So I always tell people I've been smelling motor oil since I was in the womb, literally. And my dad actually built a container for me 6 weeks after I was born. He built it so that if it went overboard, it would float. It was a few years ago. I'm not going to say the year, but they didn't have anything like that. And they would put me up underneath the bow of the boat, and they would practice, and I'd wake up and they'd feed me, and back I'd go. And so I grew up loving boating. Bought my first boat when I was 22, and I had, a great career at Bell South, but I didn't really understand the difference between loving what you do and having a passion for what you do. And when I got hired on at Freedom, it was like I could put together everything that I'd learned in my whole life, in my career, and my love of boating together. And it was amazing. And literally, I remember when I got the job, and I called some of my friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm working for Freedom Boat Club. And they're like, wait, what? Wait, you're going to get paid to get people on the water? Like, how is that fair? And so in my, boating life, I've just gotten tons and tons of people on the water, gotten them addicted to boating, love of boating, creating those memories, seeing the city from a different perspective, all of that stuff. And then in my career, to be able to, be an owner of a business that is your life passion, and to put those two things together, it's one of those stories where people say, you'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love.
It's true. And I've told you this even before. I've never in my life met somebody more passionate about boating and making me want to go boating, even if it's 20 below zero, than you. And you would rub it in, and I appreciate that when you're in Jacksonville and we're here in Chicago. But tonight we are talking about women at the helm, and we are really excited to launch our Freedom at the Helm women's group here tonight, the launch of our dedicated Facebook page just for the women of Freedom Boat Club. And I know that you like to get everybody out on the water, but you've got a special place in your heart for women at the helm, and making sure that women understand that they can be empowered on the water, and they too can have some fun on the water and take control of it. So what are you most excited about with Freedom at the Helm, and what kind of education can you provide for our Facebook channel and all of our members out there?
So what I'm really excited about is, my dad had 3 girls. So someone had to learn to back the trailer, drive the boat, and do all those things. And I never had a thought that I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just brought up to, yeah, you can do this. And in my times of owning my own boat and taking women friends out, I've heard them say so many times, oh man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could own a boat. I'd love to own a boat. And so what excites me about this? Well, what excites me about Freedom Boat Club is it makes it so easy for women to do it. And I don't mean to say that like, it's just that, they don't have to worry about the maintenance or the mechanics or the trailering or anything like that really, women don't really know a lot about. And so it makes it so easy for them to become a boater. And then to be able to experience that change that happens. So I've literally, when I do my Women on the Water days at Freedom, I've had women on the boat and they're literally like nervous, and they get behind the helm and they're, you can tell they're tentative. They don't think they can do it. And then by the end of the day, they're up on plane, their hair is blowing, and they walk in like, smiling ear to ear. It's that empowering feeling. It's that I can do this, that ability to do it. So I have a member, this is a true story, Jackie Rush. I know she won't tell, she doesn't care if I tell the story. She joined in 2009. Her husband was the boater. She knew nothing about boating. When I took them for a test drive to see if they wanted to join Freedom, she and her daughter sat in the back of the boat, she clutching her daughter, fearful. Fast forward 3 years later, I'm sitting in my office. Jackie walks in, she goes, hey, high five me. I pulled up to the gas dock today. It's like, I have goosebumps. You can't, that is just something you can't explain what you get from your heart, from that. So I'm really excited to teach women, all the things like how to tie a line, how to, what are the lines to use, how to be a good first mate, how to captain the boat, how to have confidence in yourself. What are the things you need to know? All of those things that we are going to be doing. And then, to connect women across the country like that, that's going to be pretty cool, actually. Excited.
And it's incredible. In our Women of Freedom Boat Club appreciate everything that you do. I know everybody appreciates you do, but one thing I want to talk about that you just brought up was how to be a great first mate. And I know that that's something you're very passionate about, and an educational series that you're really inspiring other women to get out there and be a great first mate. What can you tell our owners, our members here on Facebook about what it takes to be a great first mate and what the program looks like?
So first of all, in order to be a good first mate, here's the foundation. A good first mate can make a captain look like a god, for sure. You know what I'm talking about, really. Literally, they can just make them look like they are incredible. So also, there are so many things that the first mate can do, but you need to, if you're going to be a good first mate, you've got to understand your role. What is it that you do as a first mate? What are the things that are required of you? What are the things that make you a good first mate? What are those duties that you need to do? You need to understand nautical language. So you're communicating with the captain. You need to know bow, stern, port, starboard, line, fender. Like, you need to be able to speak the language so that the two of you can communicate, together. And communication is really, really, really key, and anticipating. So like an example would be, the captain is driving, the first mate is on the bow and the captain's saying something and the first mate's looking forward and they're talking. Can't hear what they're saying. You need to turn and look at the captain. I can't tell you how many times I see that. Or as you're being a good lookout and you're looking out, you know, don't just say, hey, look at that. There's a tugboat in the rear coming up on our port side. Do you see that? So I'm talking clear, concise communication. And then the first mate needs to be able to take over the helm if something happens to the captain. You know, if something happens, you've got to know, what do you do in an emergency? First of all, first thing you want to do is get an anchor over and get stop if you have, you know, take over. You want to be able to know how to call on the VHF Marine radio, channel 16. At Freedom, we say call the dock manager because we want you to call the dock manager. But these are all the things that are just so important to being a first mate. And when I said that you can make or break the captain, so tossing a line, getting the line to the dock. So for instance, the captain's pulling into the dock. You've got wind, you've got current, and you're in a sticky situation. If you can toss that line and get it to someone who's on the dock, or if you can get it around the cleat quick enough and then get to the back of the boat quick enough, you can help that captain just glide in and he looks like he's king of the world, or she looks like she's queen of the world. And that's because there was a really good first mate. So I've actually been on boats. I was with a friend of mine. We were downtown Jacksonville, and you know how the current rips down there. Pulling in to the dock in a situation where we've got someone in the front, someone in the back, ripping current, got to make it happen quick. And the captain turned around and said to this person, throw the line, and I need you to get to the line to the person who's on the dock. They threw the line, okay. But it wasn't attached to anything. It wasn't attached to the boat. So it really didn't help that much. Now, thank goodness it was a good captain, used port and starboard engines, you know, got in. However, if the line was attached and they'd have gotten the line to the person on the dock, you know, would have been so much easier. But I have seen where, you know, having a good first mate, doing those things and doing the communication can save lots of issues and can be really, really helpful. The other thing as a first mate is that you need to be quick. You know, so a lot of times I'll see, especially if you're pulling up to a restaurant, you know, you've got a floating dock, crowded, you're trying to dock. And I mean, I've done it with myself when I have people who aren't, you know, familiar on the boat. I'm pulling up and I'm like, okay, I want the bow line first and I want the stern line, and they like mosey out of the boat and they get, and I'm like, no, hurry, speed it up, get it on the cleat, get it tied, get to the back, get the stern line quickly, you know. So all of those things can just really, really, really help your captain out, help the situation out, keep things safe, make the boating great for everybody. And, you know, honestly, I like being a really good first mate. I like a captain who can depend on me. Like you're working as a team and you're accomplishing something together. So, you know, really great.
That's incredible. I think what you're doing for not just the industry, for women in boating, I think everybody understands. Got to ask you, because, you know, we've talked a lot about, you know, Spotify, and we've got some great things going on Facebook and women at the helm and first mate. But I saw a story the other day, and the only head any amount of money, these are Lisa's guys. And I click on the story, and sure enough, two of your guys are saving somebody out of their car that's gone into the water. Just, can you talk a little bit about that? You get the phone call, what's going on? I mean, it's an incredible story, what you guys do, but then add this on top of it. It's just, when I saw it, I said, yep, that's Lisa's group.
Oh, thank you so much, Lee. So the situation was at our Beach Marine location, my dock manager, Amit, was at the fuel dock and he was getting fuel. And across the way, there's a busy road. And he looked over and he saw this car come off the road and go into the water. And he looked at it and he at first thought maybe, you know, he wasn't really sure. And then he was like, oh my gosh, someone might be in there. And, you know, we pride ourselves on teaching safety so much. He literally got on the radio, he called Captain John and he called David. He said, hey, I need you guys down at the fuel dock. There's a car that went in the water. We got to go see what's happening. And thank goodness, Captain John is ex-JSO, Marine, qualified. I mean, he knew exactly what to do. And they pulled the woman out of the car and saved her before the car went down. You know, I just was just so proud of them for acting quickly, making the right decision. And, you know, that ties right back, Lee, to being that good first mate. Knowing what to do and acting quickly, you know, and being right there. It can just make all the difference in the world.
It's incredible. Congratulations for that. You guys got some great national publicity out of it, but just being Johnny on the spot, so to speak, I mean, it's an incredible story. And again, Lisa, thank you so much for all that you do. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. I think we need more time. I think we need like 30 minutes for this at least.
30? Is that enough? I'm just kidding.
Well, then we can actually do this in person. We can actually spend some time in the water.
Yes, that's what I really want.
Cool. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here on our weekly Watch Party Wednesday. And members, please plan to join us next week for a very special Freedom Family Fishing interview with the very famous Bassmasters Brian Latimer and his son, with a chance to win an annual subscription to Catchco's Mystery Tackle Box. Thanks again for joining us here this evening. Remember to tune in every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time for our Freedom Social Watch Party Wednesdays.
My favorite thing about being out on the water is the joy that it brings in my heart and soul. There's no stress. It's freedom. It's the wind blowing in your face. It's the connectivity with people on the boat. If you have kids, your kids aren't going to be on their Xbox or their laptop or their iPhone. They're out jumping in the water, tubing, laughing. It's the joy, it's the laughter, it's that feeling of really being alive.
Freedom Boat Club, I joined it because I had spoken with Lisa Almeida, which I actually went to college with, and she convinced me through her dynamic personality, whether that be on air or in person, to become a member of the boat club, because it was just literally what it says. It's a lot of freedom to get out on the water and just enjoy the day.
As a woman, I was a little nervous at first because I couldn't trailer a boat and do all those kinds of things on my own, or at least was uncomfortable to try at first. So when I heard about this and a way that we could be out on the water without having to do all the maintenance on the boat, without having to trailer the boat, without having to store a boat and all of that, drive one around, it seemed pretty ideal.
Freedom Boat Club is an alternative to boat ownership. It's a way that people can get on the water without all of the hassles and the maintenance. It's an easy way to go boating.
You know, everybody's sort of concerned about training and getting out on the water, but the training was so easy.
Freedom Boat Club trains you to use the boats. I had a little bit of boat experience, but they give you a couple of hours of training inside the classroom, and then they give you a couple of hours on the river.
You have the dock hands who are always there. You can reach them by phone at any time.
Boating is a part of my DNA. I grew up boating, and my dad never said I couldn't do it. He had 3 girls, and since he wanted to ski, someone had to learn how to drive the boat and back the trailer. So it was always, as a woman, I could do it.
We joke around about the name being Freedom Boat Club, but I swear to goodness, it's the truth. Going out on the water, it was just a sense of freedom, it was a sense of empowerment. It made me feel as though I could conquer things that I had not really tried on my own before.
I think women are just as able to do the boating stuff. I mean, we don't necessarily have the brute strength to tug a boat in and out of the water, but certainly the way the Freedom Boat Club has it set up, we are certainly capable to be boaters.
It's really important to me for women to feel empowered to be able to boat, because I can't tell you how many of my girlfriends have said to me, man, I wish I could drive a boat, or I wish I could get out there and go boating. And I always say to them, you can learn how to do this. This is not just a male-dominated industry. It's just because you haven't learned how to do it, We're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to show you how to do it. And you're going to gain all the confidence that you need to do it.
The Freedom Boat Club is mine, I have to say, because my husband plays golf and the golf course is his, but the Freedom Boat Club is mine, and this is what we do for me, because this is where I feel rejuvenated and it's fun.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. There are times I kick my husband off when we're out together, and I like the speed. You know, I love the faster I can go. It's fun. It's fun to feel the wind in your hair and feel the boat in the water bouncing, and I love it. I love the boat.
I would say to any woman who's afraid to boat that you absolutely can drive the boat. These boats are not super complicated. The river markers are not super complicated here. It's really just a matter of putting it into drive and going.
It's a stress reliever. It's a calming factor. It's a fun, exciting time. It's all the extremes from high to low. But the thing I'll promise you is when you're on the water, you will not have anything but loads of fun. So get on the water. What are you waiting on?
Ladies, let me just say to you, if you're thinking about the possibility of joining, come down to the dock, come see me, any of my dock staff. We will take you out and we will show you how darn easy it is and how much fun you can have boating on the water.
One of the great things about joining Freedom Boat Club is the training that you get on the water. At Freedom Boat Club, we want you and your family and your friends to have a great time, but the number one priority for us is for you to be safe. When you join as a member, we have U.S. Coast Guard certified captains on staff, and you are going to have unlimited access to them and get all of the training that you need. And it's not just at the table training, looking at the charts. You are actually going to get on the water with a licensed captain, one-on-one, and you know what's going to happen? Your kids are going to start calling you captain.
Hi, this is Lisa the Boatanista, and I'm going to demonstrate the correct way to throw a line. So what you're going to do is you want to grab it and you want to coil it. The reason you're coiling the line is because it will give it momentum. Once you have it coiled, grab it with one hand and then you just want to toss it. And the reason that you want to hold it with one hand is because if it doesn't get to the person, you can quickly pull it back. So once again, hold it, coil it, hold it again, and toss.
So here she comes. So get your line ready in case she gets in trouble, so I can show her how great it is.
Not nervous at all.
Good job. All right. So say it. So see how easy that is?
Left and
Yep.
in gear, so
Yep.
that kicks my stern over,
Right.
and then turn hard right, brake, and that full
Right.
finish is pulling my stern over.
Got it.
And so Stephanie, how did you feel?
I felt very good.
Awesome.
Phil is very good. Captain Phil is a very good teacher,
Awesome.
and it's fun.
Good.
On the dock.